I find that no one's actually putting up a fight against European anti-Semitism, particularly even Western Europe. Um, that I would say, right, the Abraham Accords happened like 2 years ago. 2 years ago, they didn't even recognize my existence or your existence in, let's say, Dubai. We didn't even exist. However, I would say it is safer for a Jew to wear a yarmulke, a kippah in Dubai than it is in London or Paris. How is it possible that 2 years ago they didn't recognize us and it's safe to wear a kippah, or safer? I can't walk around with in London with a yarmulke on and feel safe, or Paris, or much of other parts of Western Europe, including Germany, other parts of the UK, Portugal, etc., Spain. How did we get here? One, is it inevitable? Is it just ingrained in I don't know, European blood culture? I don't know. Is there a way forward, or should we just, or is it not even? Are we at a point where our focus to combat anti-Semitism would be better spent on more optimistic grounds, maybe uh, North America, Africa, the Arab world, the Muslim world, Asia, etc.? What are your thoughts?
No, I think the challenge is that it's all of the above. You have to do it, all of this on at the same time, which is problematic because you cannot focus, and you still don't know where exactly the problem is, even after all these years. And we as the Jews, we as Israelis, were being suddenly surprised, like 5 6 years ago
Suddenly,
with this suddenly out of suddenly this happens. Suddenly our synagogues are attacked. Suddenly the communities are not safe. Suddenly it's an issue. Since I was dealing with the communities, I can tell you that when I used to come to the community and look at the budget of the community, maybe up till a few years ago, maybe 2 or 3 or 5% of the budget of the community was devoted to security. All the budget was for social, for education, for maintaining the school, for the Jewish community center, for the swimming pool, for the youth movements and stuff like this. Because really, people thought that 75 years after the war, and after what happened in Europe, something like this is unimaginable. People also thought that there are governments that should take care. If there is some problem, the governments should take care of this. And one day they woke up and saw what happened in different places, and all this changed in 1 minute. Now, the good news is that the senior leadership, the senior political leadership of Europe understands it, and
I
they
don't.
went.
I don't believe it. I don't believe that.
No, no, on the
How?
no, on what level? No, there are two levels here. One level is really, do they understand this, and B, do they do whatever they have to do? And these are two levels. On the level of understanding, I think once again, it's not everybody, but I met many heads of states, many ministers, prime ministers, presidents, and I sincerely think that most of them understand the problem, and most of them understand also that they have to deal with it. The
Wait, hold
problem is
on. Let's. What is the problem? Okay, anti-Semitism. But let's get tachlis, right? You were talking about earlier about neo Nazis, white supremacists in Bulgaria, in Europe, right? And that's the form of anti-Semitism. From my experience in Western nations, so I'm not going to talk about Eastern Europe, but we can discuss that too. But the examples I gave, that it's safer now in the Arab world than in parts of the Arab world than it is in Western Europe. I mean, the anti-Semitism is overwhelmingly coming from Islamists, and is right. So why do they continue to import a population that is acute, according to Pew Research, is overwhelmingly majority pursuing anti-Semitism? I mean, would you say that the governments of Western European nations are aware, like the what is the obvious, that the anti-Semitism in their country is coming from one, Muslims and their sympathizers, number one, and number two, what do they do about it? They continue to allow immigration, and they continue to allow these things to continue. They're not doing anything. I haven't heard one thing spoken up against anti-Semitism in Western Europe, which is largely from bringing in Islam.
No, I think the anti-Semitism is not coming only from the Muslim world. It is, but it's not only. It also comes from the extreme right. It comes from the
I
extreme
have the extreme
left.
left and the
It
extreme
has
right too. I understand that.
and it has
But those that
many.
attack synagogues, the majority of them, those that are trying to attack Jewish, I would say the plurality of them is an imported phenomenon. It's not
Yeah.
domestically grown. Let's say whether it's the neo-Nazis in Eastern Europe or the Nazis in Germany, during World War II. I mean, this isn't homegrown. This is imported and continues to be imported, right? And we're talking a plurality, if not a majority, of anti-Semitic attacks in Western Europe. So how do they justify continuing to import a population that, if you poll them, even as they land, which people have done, as they come into Western Europe, what are their opinions on Jews? It's really terrific. It's horrifying. I don't think that they know what the problem is. And if they do, I think they don't care. They'll pay the lip service to the Jewish NGO, and they'll continue to import anti-Semites because it might suit them politically or economically. Are my opinions too strong?
Your opinions are not too strong, but they're not full. Because there are anti-Semitism has many faces. Really.
Yeah, unfortunately. It would be easier if we could just,
exactly. If we could focus it and if we could sit
and
there
we could put all our resources there and we'd all come together, but unfortunately it doesn't work.
Yeah, and we don't want to replace dozens of scholars who wrote books about this and run ongoing surveys and and all the organizations coming with different statements every morning and every evening. So all this is going on, and it's. But you are really going to the core of this, and the core of this at the end of the day,
because no one else is.
Yeah, at the end of the day, to deal with this properly, first of all, in the long run, there is no other way but education. There is no other way, because people really, it's ignorance. It's people don't know. People don't. I'm thinking about broadly. People don't know, don't care. They weren't given the tools how to deal with this. There was no proper legislation. The law enforcement officers have no clue how to manage the situation. So in the long term, it's the only way to deal with this. It's education.